local cover band returns with a sold-out show.
So the concert went really well. The band feels really good about it.
Nova Scotia Youth Orchestra is hoping to expand across the province.
Musicians use alternative and traditional marketing methods in the digital world. Hello and welcome to the Video Signal. I'm Olivia Piercy.
And I'm Gabrielle McLeod. This show is brought to you by third-year journalism students at the University of King's College.
When we heard the Junos were happening in Halifax, people were excited. At the same time, we heard the city was clearing the encampment sites downtown. Some people questioned whether the two were related.
On the day of the awards ceremony, Halifax musicians held their own event at Grand Parade, one of the former encampment sites for unhoused people.
Reporter Antonia Zwisler is here with us today to talk about the protest. Hi, Antonia. What was it like at Grand Parade that day?
Hi. I got there early and I saw tent pegs and tire tracks in the mud. The municipality did say that it's committed to safer long-term housing options for everyone who needs them, but we saw a lot of people who aren't satisfied with that response.
And what about the musicians? Why did they feel it was important to stand up for this?
Well, let's see what they had to say.
Musicians and music lovers gathered on March 28th to protest Halifax's homeless encampment evictions. The protesters met at Grand Parade and marched up the street to the Scotiabank Centre, where the Junos were taking place. Musician Colin Roderick talks about why he organized the protest.
I really just wanted to make it known that we're not okay with the clearing of these encampments without proper resources being provided to these individuals. Everybody really wants to be sure that the government hears that this is what we care about, this is what we want to spend money on. We don't want these giant events in the city if it's at the cost of these communities.
After the city's eviction deadline, approved encampment sites became off-limits in the weeks leading up to the Juno Awards. Nathan Doucette used to work at Out of the Cold Community Association.
This is always about invisibilizing people. They're not trying to dignify people with good options, safe options for indoor living. It's about cleaning up the HRM so that they can get back to their civic celebrations.
Over 100 people came out to demand dignified housing solutions. Doucette says the city's current approach causes more harm than good.
In my experience, after evictions, many people die. And not just outside. I'm talking they die inside. They're all of a sudden alone, they're depressed, dislocated from their community, no one to connect to. It leads to death.
This is your last warning. You must clear the roadway or you will be arrested. Streets! Our streets!
Doucette was also involved in helping victims of encampment evictions in Toronto. He wants to protect people from dangerous living conditions.
There's one person I'm thinking of who would love to be here today, which is much the reason why I go out and do these things, because he can't. He passed of an overdose from sheer depression. He just wanted to be back with his community, with his people, and the disenfranchisement led him to die.
The protesters demand better treatment of the unhoused and more money spent on public housing. Colin Roderick and Nathan Doucette hope they can use the Junos as a platform to voice these demands.
Antonia Zwisler
and Maria Collins, The Signal, Halifax.
The city stated that indoor options are available for everyone who is evicted, and that those options are better than being outside. It's interesting, the housing crisis comes up even when we're doing a show on music.
A flourishing local music scene brings communities together. And with so many musicians, whether you like the classical sounds of a symphony or the rhythm of rap music, there's something for you.
Speaking of the symphony, did you know Nova Scotia has its very own orchestra?
I did. I love the orchestra. What about it?
Did you know they have a youth orchestra as well? Reporter Maria Collins went to one of the rehearsals. Over to you, Maria.
I'm here outside St. Andrew's United Church, and inside, the youth orchestra is about to begin rehearsals. The youth orchestra is run by Symphony Nova Scotia, and they're planning on expanding the program across the province.
Symphony Nova Scotia has run the youth orchestra since 2018, but the program has been around for over 50 years. Jack Chen manages the youth orchestra.
The orchestra is a platform and an opportunity for our young musicians to train for the orchestra model. And the goal is for them to have exposure to the repertoire and also the opportunity to connect with each other. So they get to make music and learn with like-minded people.
Rosa Zalat says the program pushes her to improve her instrument, which is just what she needed 2 years ago.
At school, I find that I was a little bit ahead. I kind of got a little lazy, and then one of my friends, Simone, one of the oboists, she said, "Oh, you should join the youth orchestra to give you a bit of a challenge." And I was like, "Oh, that's a great idea." And so now, having big, scary Greg conducting in front of me actually motivates me to practice every week, so it keeps me on my toes and it keeps me consistent.
But if you're out of Halifax, you're out of luck. Many students don't have access to the program because they live outside of Halifax. Chen says Symphony Nova Scotia wants to take this experience to students across the province.
We're hoping to expand with a little hybrid program, like a satellite program, where we can give access to more young, passionate musicians, instrumentalists who live in a little further from the Halifax Regional Municipality, and to give them access to this really fantastic high-level music education program that we have.
The model would allow students to join into rehearsals via video call and get help from an in-person mentor. The online students would join the rest of the orchestra for dress rehearsals and concerts.
Jack Chen hopes the program will be up and running soon. Maria Collins, The Signal, Halifax.
It sounds like more young musicians might get to have bright futures in the symphony.
It sure does. Also, Symphony Nova Scotia is turning 40 this year, and they are celebrating with an event you might not associate with an orchestra, the world of gaming. Anorak has the story.
For its 40th anniversary, Symphony Nova Scotia tunes up to perform video games live. For one chilly March weekend, the world of video games takes over the Rebecca Cohen Auditorium. The concert features music from classics like Halo, Skyrim, Kingdom Hearts, and even old-school Tetris. The creator of this concert is Tommy Tallarico.
The reason I created Video Games Live is I wanted to prove to the world how culturally significant and artistic video games have become, but also to help usher in a whole new generation of young people to appreciate the symphony and appreciate the arts and orchestral music.
Tallarico has high praise for Symphony Nova Scotia.
And the Symphony Nova Scotia is so amazing. I mean, such professionals, and they're just on it.
The audience ranged from 8 to 80, and some even dressed up as their favorite characters. Owen Switzer came out to the show because he loves video games, and says the event opened his eyes to the excitement of the orchestra.
How it sets up the ambiance of the game, so how the music sort of interacts with gameplay, storyline, and how it tells the story and drives the story in a particular direction.
It's just that kind of enthusiasm that music director Holly Matheson wants to hear.
It means a huge amount to hear people say that we've brought something to life for them, because that's what you hope music does.
Whether it be video game music or Beethoven, Symphony Nova Scotia hopes to serenade many more for years to come. Anna Rack, The Signal, Halifax.
It seems like the orchestra can do a lot more than you might think. Moving away from instrumental music, I want to hear about Canadian singers like Celine Dion. Our hearts will always go on with her.
Ah, Celine Dion, what a gorgeous singer. And speaking of beautiful voices, Melissa Boyd is a singer reporter Ella Karen first heard singing downtown. Ella, tell us more about her.
It was great. I mean, I did a profile tour, so yeah, it was pretty good. But Melissa Boyd, her main gig is actually at a church. She is a pastor, and yeah, so pretty good.
Well, let's hear it.
I am super happy to be here to share this message today. If you don't know me, my name is Melissa. I'm one of the pastors here at Deepwater.
Melissa Boyd was born and raised in Lawrencetown, Nova Scotia. From as early as she can remember, Melissa Boyd performed with her family. Even now, they gather weekly to practice and play.
So we do get together, usually at least once a week, usually on Sundays at my parents' place. But we sing, people will invite us to sing. It's mostly churches, and then sometimes like for fundraisers and stuff like that.
From singing in a group, she stepped out to lead the worship, but she also stepped into a secular gig.
Some friends invited me on stage one time just to come up and sing with them when I was out to see them at the bar, and I've just been able to, from there, go and kind of make a little bit of a career from it.
That led to a regular singing spot at a downtown Halifax bar.
Conference is pretty crazy in some ways just because it's like at church, you're not necessarily singing. You're singing with people and you're leading in some ways through music. And at the bar, people are singing with you, but you're more so singing for people and to entertain people.
Although Melissa loves getting down and groovy at the Economy Shoe Shop, she always returns to her roots.
Absolute favorite worship song right now is I Thank God by Maverick City. If you've not heard it, you need to check it out. It is a jam. It is my absolute favorite song to sing right
From
now.
family gatherings to Friday nights at the Economy Shoe Shop, Melissa Boyd says for her, music will always unite people in relaxation, in laughter, and in worship. Ella Karen, The Signal, Halifax.
Olivia, have you ever wondered who created one of the first electric instruments?
I'm definitely curious now.
Check this out.
That is very interesting.
Keyboard players are a key part of many bands nowadays. One Halifax band took a chance to host its own show. Reporter Matthew Bambrick is with us to chat about Clusterfunk. Hey Matthew.
Hi.
Tell us about your story.
Well, a local cover band recently took a big chance. After its gigs dried up during COVID-19, this band hosted its very own concert for the first time. Check it out. On March 2nd, local cover band Clusterfunk hosted their first concert at the Lower Sackville Lions Club.
So the concert went really well. The band feels really good about it. We decided to look for our own venue, sell our own tickets, and we ended up having a sold-out show of about 150 people, and we performed in the afternoon, actually. Thought we'd try that to see how it would go. And went really well. We had the dance floor packed the entire time, and yeah, coming out of the concert, everybody felt really good. So we decided as a result of that, we're probably going to put on some more concerts on our own in the future.
A sold-out crowd at their first concert came as a surprise to the band.
We have a pretty nice following of our family and friends, so yeah, I was hoping for that. But I didn't know we would sell out almost a week before the gig, so that was a pleasant surprise.
It's been nearly a decade since Clusterfunk was formed, but many of its members have been playing together even longer.
And, we've been playing together for a long time. I mean, it's been, 11 years, I think, or 12 years under the name Clusterfunk. But the drummer and I have been playing together back in 1988, 89. We played in a high school band together. And Bob Warren, our guitar player, we played with, well, I haven't actually played with him in a band prior to this, but I've known him growing up ever since I was a teenager. So it's kind of nice to play with buddies.
Many of the people in attendance were friends, family, or old fans of the band. But they also made new fans.
I think they're an awesome, awesome band, I have to say. First time hearing them, really impressed.
With a successful first concert and plans for more, Clusterfunk couldn't be happier with how the future looks for them. Matthew Bambrick, The Signal, Halifax.
Okay, it's quiz time. Are you ready, Gabby?
Hell yeah!
Let's get into it. Taylor Swift, Olivia Rodrigo, and The Weeknd. Those are some big names.
Yeah, I wonder how local musicians can compete.
Well, reporter Cesar Valera followed 2 local artists to see how they are trying to reach a wider audience. Hi, Cesar.
Hi, Olivia. How you doing?
So, how do these local artists market themselves in the industry?
I spoke to 2 local artists in the area to speak to them about the link between the online industry and the online presence and the music industry. The key was consistency, and consistency. You have to keep your face in the eyes of the viewer in order to create an authentic connection, but also just to remain relevant in the algorithm.
Awesome. Well, let's see what they had to say.
Meet Gabrielle Sophia, a 22-year-old musician from Halifax. She says that social media has been a platform that, used correctly, can help you grow your following tremendously.
Marketing and just promoting yourself online through social media is, I would say, one of the top 2 important things, like just ways to meet new people and ways to kind of branch out and widen the audience of people who's seeing what you're doing. That and live shows are super, super important.
Gabrielle explained that promoting and becoming your own manager is vital when starting your career, but she makes sure that it doesn't get involved with her creativity as an artist.
But I focus on the art first. I feel like if you have a good product and you're really passionate about what you want to show people online and on social media, then that'll translate in your videos or your posts or whatever.
And you ain't gotta get work done, but I'ma love you regardless. Staring at your natural body up in that sun.
Harms, also known as Harms So Hype, is a 23-year-old Halifax-based hip-hop artist. For Harms, being persistent with social media is an essential tool when it comes to building a consistent fan base in his music.
Pursuing social media is always an ongoing effort. It's something that shouldn't stop, something that never will stop in this day and age where everything is on our phones. I pursue it by trying my very best to just always stay relevant in the scene here in Halifax.
When it comes to promoting through social media, the algorithm allows artists to show up on people's feeds. Harm speaks about the importance of remaining in listeners' algorithms and staying consistent.
The more consistent you are, the more you end up on people's pages and people's algorithm. Maybe try to make content tailored to what people around you are looking at. You know, like the performance aspect of it where you just perform a verse of one of your songs and stuff. That's what everybody sees. So if you can make something that's adjacent to that or with your own twist on that, it'll end up on people's pages. And I guess, yeah, that's what sometimes I do as well.
The overall goal for Gabrielle and Harms is to expand their music to people that would enjoy it. To grow, posting frequently is important if you want a larger audience, and one that can even be bigger than Halifax. Cesar Valera, The Signal, Halifax.
I hope it works out for them. There's a lot of Canadian artists that have become international sensations, like Drake. Check this out.
That's impressive. I guess it must have been God's plan.
Good one, Olivia. Sticking with the same rhythm, it's time to enter the rap zone with reporter Connor Parent as he profiles some local hip-hop artists. Hi, Connor. Can you spit some bars for us today?
I don't think I'm going to be doing that on camera here, but I will be able to give you a little insight into a little microcosm of the music scene in Halifax that I've been looking into for the past little bit. It feels like an essential cliche almost of student life here in the city to be friends with a band, or at least friends of friends with a band. And I've spent the last couple weeks talking to hip-hop artist The Outdoorsman in Torrin, and I'm sure other people that know them as well would say that they feel there's not particularly a spot for their music in Halifax, as much as it may be rock or folk. So let's check that out.
Halifax is well known for its storied history of folk and rock music.
Feel the hush of the quiet breeze burning up. I let the fire bleed, posted in the cup with the silent skis. I let my circle inspire me.
Local hip-hop artists, The Outdoorsmen, feel as if their music doesn't have a place in the city's musical tradition.
I feel like it's just less original. Like
You know what I'm saying? How many white guys with guitars are out there? How many times have we heard the same singer-songwriter, you know what I'm saying, type situation over and over again?
While hip-hop remains under the radar, Bill Scratch laments the state of Halifax's music scene.
I would say, in terms of hip-hop specifically as an art form, Halifax is definitely less conducive to our music, just because there isn't as much of an established scene for hip-hop here, even though there still is if you dig deep enough, but it's very underground.
First things first, I'm bad at saving. I lose it fast, so I have to make it way quicker. But it's like I'm on the track trying to catch you singing. I blame it on my ADHD, seeking gratification. Either way, I don't gotta rap when it's raining.
Zach Smith questions the perception of hip-hop in Halifax.
I do get kind of the idea that it's like seen as a bit of a lesser art form.
It's really hard to strive in Halifax as an independent musician.
Torin is a Halifax hip-hop artist with hundreds of thousands of streams. He has trouble with the city's hip-hop scene.
I'd say it's really underground. There's not many, you wouldn't see many hip-hop shows. I mean, we have certain big artists coming in and performing at Scotia Centre, but it's not as prominent in the music scene in Halifax.
Artists like the Outdoorsman and Torin are on the outside looking in. Connor Parent, The Signal, Halifax.
It was great to get a taste of all those different kinds of music. From the musicians' protests to expanding the symphony, a lot of Haligonians are passionate about music's place in the community.
They sure do wear a lot of different hats. They have to promote themselves, deal with the technicalities of making music, and adapt to the changing world around them. And all that with style.
Thanks to all the musicians who shared their stories with us. For the Video Signal, I'm Olivia Piercy.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod. We hope you enjoyed the show.
See you next time. Let's get away from everybody.